Central Beavers.
Hello everybody and welcome to Plattsburgh High School. It is Wednesday, October 25th, and it's the start of the playoffs, quarterfinals between the Chazy Eagles and the Keene Beavers. Right now we have the announcement of the players, and we'll just listen as they announce the players.
Number 9, senior David Nye. Number 12, a junior, Bowden Gotts. Number 6, a junior, Ian Hall. Number 14, a junior, Skylar Davis. Number 2, a junior, Jesse Bright. Number 10, a sophomore, Jake Hooper. Number 19, a freshman, Luke Andrews. Number 16, an 8th grader, Dylan Boyle. And the goalkeeper, a senior, Paolo Sardella. The Keene Central Beavers are coached by Mr. Fred Hooper. And now for the home team this evening, the Chazy Eagles. Number 1, a junior, Kyle LaFountain. Number 3, a senior, Kenny Boyer. Number 5, a senior, Jacob Spiegel. Number 8, a senior, Jordan Spiegel. Number 10, a sophomore, Stetson Fields. Number 14, a junior, Corey Ellis. Number 16, a sophomore, Jason Baker. Number 17, a senior, Casey Trombley. Number 22, a junior, Perry Latrimore. Number 23, a junior, Nolan Ryan. And the goalkeeper, a junior, Jacob Beeman. The Chazy Eagles are coached by Mr. Rob McAuliffe and assisted by Ian Brassard and Matt Devens. The officials for tonight's game are Mr. Jim Schutz and Mr. David Lee. Please stand and remove all headgear for the playing of our national anthem.
Pretty good anthem, but not as good as that guy in Chazy, though, huh?
George Staub Spiegel, and we're very lucky to have him with us tonight. Everybody, I'm Joey Trombley calling the game along with George Spiegel, better known as SGS. On the camera is Calvin Castine. And Staub, what are your thoughts before the game starts tonight?
Well, I think that Chazy's got to make sure that they don't come out a little overconfident. I know they beat these Keene Beavers 5-0 and 6-0 during the regular season. So they got to come out with their heads up, willing to play some eager ball right off the bat, try to get the ball in a hurry and get ahead, because you never know what happens in sectional games.
Well, you know, Staub, Chazy comes in here with an undefeated record, unblemished record, and quite frankly, the last 2 years, they have not lost a game or tied a game. They come to this game with a #1 state ranking, plus just out on coaches' polls that we just heard yesterday in all of New York State, every class, AA, A, B, C, D, all the schools in New York State, Chazy is ranked number 15 in the state. That is pretty impressive, Staub.
It's quite an honor, Joey. I mean, for a small school with 600 kids to come up with a roster of 20 great athletes and to be ranked number 15 in the whole state is just incredible. They've done a phenomenal job all year, undefeated, obviously, as you know, going for win number 52 in a row, 53 in a row. So, I mean, just an incredible team, incredible ball handling team. But listen, Fred Hooper came here tonight, and he's got his boys pumped up, and he wants to see if he can be the one that undefeats them.
Well, you know, the season's done. It's the start of the playoffs, and as you well know, Staub, as the playoffs start, you win, you move on, you lose, you go home. Yes, they won 5-0, they won 6-0. In the game one down in Keene, the goalie, Paola Sardella, was absolutely phenomenal down there. The Chazy boys did win 5-0. It could have been much worse, but they ran into a hot goalie in Sardella.
Yes, I'll tell you what, Joey, he did a phenomenal job. It could have been easily, literally a 12 to 15-0 game. He stopped some fantastic shots on the Chazy players, and hats off to him, and he's going to have to be up to the task again tonight.
Well, when you get into a playoff game, we've seen it many times before, where sometimes the better team doesn't win a game. They control the game, they control the midfield, they get the shots on net, but you run into a hot goalie, you go into overtime, it goes into shootout, and the next thing you know, you're on the losing end of the game.
That's right, Joey. So you got to be on top of your game. The boys are pumped up tonight. I know that my kids actually were talking last night, and they said, Dad, we're taking one game at a time. We want to get to be the state champions one more time, and we just can't be overconfident.
Well, they are two-time state champions right now, and this is the start of the state run. They got 7 games that they need to win. You got the quarterfinals right now. If they win this game, they move on to the semis and, of course, the finals. And then this year, the road to the Final Four will not be as easy as last year. Last year, Chazy had the bye, and the game was at home. This year, they have to run down to, if they get that far, they have to go to Albany, and then they have to end up going over to Potsdam, and then off to Oneonta. So it'll be a much different route this year than it was last year.
Absolutely, Joey. It's a little bit more difficult. Obviously, you're losing a few more players, but I'll tell you, Chazy has had some people that have really stepped up well today, or this year, I should say. Some people that came from the junior class, sophomore class, filled a few positions, and they're really gelling very well at this point.
Well, we're at the, as they say, showtime now with playoffs. Jacob Spiegel from about the 20-yard line just let a shot rip over the net, and it is a goal kick. And the ball comes to about the 40-yard line, and Nolan Ryan trying to get position. 2 Keene defenders on him. Corey Ellis with the ball. Going down to the left side, Kyle LaFountain has the ball, being challenged by the Keene defense. Number 14, Skylar Davis, knocks the ball out of bounds, and it'll be a Chazy throw-in with Kyle LaFountain taking the throw-in. He goes down the line to Corey Ellis. Ellis traps the ball, being challenged by the Keene players. It's cleared out. Number 24, Keene, would be Jared Wallace, sends it up to the midfield, but controlled by MVP Jacob Spiegel, and that was quite an honor for Jacob Spiegel. He is the MVP of the MVAC this year, Staub.
Yes, it was a nice surprise. I'll tell you, he's very humbled about it. You know, being in competition with a gentleman that could very well have been the MVP, Mr. Nolan Ryan, who's the leading scorer of all time. You know, he is very humbled about the honor of being MVP, but he has done a fantastic job on the field this year. Really controls the middle, sets up a lot of goals for the scorers in Chazy, and you know, I'd like to congratulate Jacob, who is my son, and it was a nice surprise and a nice honor.
Well, I'll tell you, Staub, it was actually a well-deserved honor. You know, many people could say, Baker coming in. Baker drives it to the side of the net. A great shot. Was that Perry Latchmore? I thought it was Jason Baker. It was Perry Latchmore coming in from the defensive side. Lays a hard shot on the side of the net, and it'll be a goal kick for Keene. But going back to Jacob Staub, it was a well-deserved MVP award. Nolan Ryan is and will be the most prolific scorer in the region, much less Chazy history. And there's Nolan Ryan right now into the game. Unselfishly sends it to the middle to Jason Baker, knocked away. Keene takes control about the 30-yard line of Chazy, pushes it up, but intercepted by number 3, Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer sends it to the right side, but offsides on Corey Ellis. Going back to Jacob Spiegel, many people thought Nolan Ryan would get the MVP. Yes, Nolan Ryan has scored a lot of goals this year, but he has to get the ball from somebody. And it was kind of neat that the coaches recognize that the work that Jacob Spiegel does out there. Because you watch the Chazy team, when Jacob Spiegel controls the midfield, Chazy clicks. And it's Jacob Spiegel who gets the ball to the Nolan Ryans, the Corey Ellises out there, the Stetson Fields. So well-deserved, and my congratulations to you and to Jacob on an MVP performance.
Well, thank you, Joey. I'm like I say, he's very humbled about getting the honor, and hats off to the whole team. Who, you need a whole team to win all these games. It's not one by one person. Jacob's just one player on there, and he knows that. And the whole team has just been a phenomenal team this year. Obviously undefeated. Their records go on and on and on, and you can talk about them all night long, which most of the time we will.
Oh, what a feed from Stetson Fields to Nolan Ryan. We talked about Paola Sardella before the game. Point-blank shot, made a great save. It's almost reminiscent of how he played in Keene.
He played an awesome game in Keene, and like, again, he stopped at least 10 crucial shots for them. And like I said, the game really could have been 12 or 15 to nothing in that game. He's a phenomenal goaltender, and he's going to have to really be on top of his game tonight to keep Chazy off the board.
Well, you can tell he's a senior because he plays with the poise of a senior out there, and you saw that with a point-blank save off of Nolan Ryan. The action is back into the Keene end, and the whistle goes against Chazy, a pushing on, that would have been Jason Baker, I think, out there. And Keene will get the direct kick deep in their end. The players are setting up for the play, and here comes the kick. It's going to make it about to midfield, but headed back by that Jason Baker over to Corey Ellis, taken away by number 16 for Keene, which was been Dylan Boyle. He sends it over to the wing, intercepted by Jacob Spiegel. There's the footwork of Spiegel. That's what we're talking about. Over to Jason Baker. A nice pass to Baker. Baker has room. He's come down to the right side, trying to hit Fields. Fields will get the ball deep in the right side into the Keene zone. Going down, trying to send, what a pass over to Baker. Baker will try to get it across. He's the center field, passes it back over to Casey Trombley, who sends it back to Kenny Boyer. Goes cross field. That was Perry Latchmore over to Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer has the ball. There's 5 passes in a row from Chazy. When they have that passing game going on, they control the field.
That's what they need to do all night long, Joey. These guys are ground game players, and if you keep the ball on the ground, it's so much easier to control, and you can make a lot more precise passes, much easier to control on the chest, on the foot. They got to do that all game long, and they'll be fine.
Well, the ball is sent on a corner kick. Ryan is in there, and he hits a shot right at Sardella, Sardella. Sardella makes another save on Nolan Ryan. We are about 7 minutes into the game right now. There is no score. Chazy has dominated up to this point. Keene is in the Chazy zone right now for the first time, but Chazy controls with their pass work. Casey Trombley sends it into Jason Baker at midfield. He's got room. He sends it up to a Russian. Nolan Ryan hits him in the back, deflects off to a Keene defender. They go to the right side, trying to hit number 20, Jared Wallace. But Jacob Spiegel, the MVP of the MVC, has the ball right now, makes a nice move, chips it in. Here comes a non-Russian Corey Ellis, and Sardella makes another great save. Right now, it could be 3-0 Chazy Staub, and Sardella is equal to the task.
He's done a phenomenal job so far, Joey. 3 nice saves right off the bat. A couple at point-blank range. That's what he's going to have to do all night long to keep him in this game.
Yeah, the pressure, I don't see Chazy giving up on this pressure at this point, at least roughly about 8 minutes into the game. Keene has shown no offense, just trying to withstand the storm put on by Chazy at this point. But right now they do control the ball with Jared Wallace trying to keep it from going out. It does go out. Jordan Spiegel will go back to his sweeper position, and the throw-in will be with Kyle LaFountain. Kyle Fountain throws it into Jason Baker. He controls at the midfield point. He rushes up, sends it across to Nolan Ryan. Ryan's got a little bit of room, but being contested by the Keene defender. Nice back kick down the wing to Kyle Fountain. Kyle Fountain sends it across to the center. Jason Baker tried to trap it in the 18-yard line, couldn't control it. Don't let Casey Trombley load up. We saw him do it the last game. He shot a bullet from about 30 yards and in the upper net stop, and it was quite a shot that he took the other day.
Well, Casey's a big boy. He's about a 200-pounder, and when he lets that shot go, it's just a rocket. He just needs the opportunity to have just a little bit of space, and you're going to see him fire off.
Well, when Casey does get the opportunities, he will take advantage of it. So it would behoove Keene not to give him those opportunities because he can put them away from a good distance. Baker just lets a shot rip. If it was in football, it would be no good. It hit the upright over the right side of the net. The fans got a little kick out of that. Of course, you don't see that in Chazy. We don't have any goalposts in Chazy.
No football posts in Chazy, Joey. Just soccer posts. We grow them in our bedrooms, I think, when they're about maybe 6 months old. I think they just start to grow in people's bedrooms so we can start practicing.
It's amazing in Chazy. It always seems that the first toy they get is a soccer ball, and they get soccer bottles to drink their milk out of, and it's just they're kind of introduced to the game at an early age. But that's the culture in Chazy is their soccer. Casey Trombley sends it into Ryan, and the whistle blows. Ryan holds up on the shot. Very nice of Nolan to do that. He heard the whistle, so he held up.
Oh, it was a beautiful pass by Casey, though. Just a little bit offsides by Nolan Ryan. I think Nolan's probably going to, even though he was offside, he's probably going to wish he had that one more time.
Well, we're almost to the 10-minute mark here in the first half. There is no score. Chazy has been dominating. Right now the ball is in the Chazy zone with Keene trying to get something started. But Chazy has a very stifling defense. I think they've given up, 9 goals this year?
That's it, Joey. They got a phenomenal defense. I think the actual varsity has only let in probably 2 goals all year, and obviously, when we get up by 6 or 7 goals, Rob is real good about putting out some other people, making sure they play. But the actual varsity lineup themselves, I believe, has only let in 2 goals all year, and I think last year they only let in 3. And actually that crew, as far as the starting lineup, only let in 1. So they do have a stifling defense, very, very tough to get by them. The goalie really hasn't been challenged too much for Chazy this year, Mr. Beeman. But with a defense like Chazy's, it's tough. I mean, when teams score, it's almost a victory for them.
Well, you talked about Jacob Beeman. He hasn't had a lot of shots, but I'll tell you, the shots that he has had on some quality shots, he has stood up to the task.
Absolutely, Joey. He's a new player this year for Chazy, a new goaltender. He's a phenomenal hockey goaltender, and they decided to try him out, and he's done a great job for us. Made some beautiful diving saves the last game. It was very, very cold and treacherous conditions, but I'm sorry, it wasn't the last game, it was the game before that. Made some great diving saves and really saved Chazy early on in that game. It could have been 1-0. I'm trying to remember the team it was. Sorry, at this point I'm drawing a blank, but it was right off the bat. They had a scoring opportunity, which he made a diving save, and it really could have put some pressure on Chazy right off the bat.
Well, actually, it was the Bolton game last Friday. It was early on. Bolton did have they only had 2 shots on net, I think, and it was early in the game, and Beeman stood up to the task, kept him off the board, and then from that point, Chazy scored 7 straight. But right now, we got an announcement from the announcer here at the field.
There's hot chocolate, hot coffee, hot chili. Please work the KCS Booster Club concession stand.
Keene has just subbed a couple players. Talking about the Chazy defense stop, Nolan Ryan with the ball. It's always interesting to see what Nolan will do. Ryan loads up and goes wide, and it will be a goal kick. But you have the midfield controlled by Jacob Spiegel. They control the midfield, so if Keene can break the midfield, then you're looking at that stellar defense led by Casey Trombley, the stopper. You have Jordan Spiegel, twin brother of Jacob, obviously your other son, in the sweeper position, and Perry Latchmore and Kenny Boyer on the fullback positions at right and left side. A very formidable defense back there for any team to break through.
Absolutely, Joey. And Chazy's very streaky. You'll notice that some days it takes him just a minute or two to get a first goal in. And games like today, we're already about 10 minutes into the game and they haven't scored yet. But then all of a sudden they'll rattle off 2 or 3 in a couple minute span. So they're very streaky. Once they get on the board, they seem to loosen up a little bit. Maybe they're a little nervous tonight. I'm not quite sure, but they've had some great opportunities. The goaltender's been incredible, and the defense for Keene has been holding up. They're trying very hard. They're really putting us to the task here.
Well, you know, it's been my experience, Staub, when teams like Chazy pressure a goalie like they've been pressuring them and get the shots off, it's only to a certain point that the defense can hold for Keene, and then at some point the goals start going in.
But this is where things are dangerous. You don't want to stay off the board too long because many upsets have been made. I can remember one year when Chazy played Willsboro and outshot them about 30-2, and Willsboro scored a very nice goal. Got to give them credit in the overtime, and it was obviously supposed to be a definite Chazy win, and it didn't happen.
That's right, and the longer the game stays 0, the more confidence the other team gets. The more confidence they get, the better they play. And you're right, upsets can happen. Casey Trombley was called for a pushing foul there. It will be Keene's kick deep in their end, about the, I would say, 20-yard line, about 20 yards. And it was kicked to the midfield, controlled by Beeman, who tries to chest it over to LaFountain, but still controls. Being challenged, but nice moves by Jacob Spiegel. I got Beeman and Spiegel mixed up here. And Chazy will get the throw-in with Kyle LaFountain. Coming in is Evan Green. Stetson Fields comes off the field. Evan Green on the field for the first time tonight. We're about 15 minutes here into the first half. There is no score. I'm Joey Trombley with Staub Spiegel calling the game with Calvin Castine on the camera. We're in Plattsburgh, New York tonight. There is a stiff wind. You can see the flag blowing from left to right. But a beautiful night for a soccer game. There are no elements as far as rain, wind, or rain or snow at this point.
Absolutely beautiful field here at PHS. I mean, AstroTurf, the field looks like it's very, very dry. The buildings are just outstanding here. Brand new buildings put up this year for concession stands, and the announcing booth that we're in right now has even got a heater in it. We truly love this place.
Well, I'll tell you what, they did a nice job here in Plattsburgh. They can be very proud of their facilities, and the taxpayers should really appreciate what they have here. It's a quality atmosphere, quality field. Just everything about it is professional.
Absolutely, Joey, and it's just such a pleasure to come here and play. It's a big open field, which Chazy players absolutely love because they can get their ground game going. And like I say, the Chazy field tonight was quite wet, so they decided to put it on this field, which it's just absolutely beautiful.
Well, Baker makes a nice pass over to LaFountain, who hits a streaking. Was that Nolan Ryan?
It was.
Nolan would normally put that ball away. It just got through his feet, and it will go out on the other side, the far side, and Keene will have the throw-in. The ball goes into number 12, it looked like, on the far end for Keene, which would have been Bowden Gotts, is what it looks like here. But Chazy controls the ball. Kenny Boyer has it. He's looking around, being challenged, sends it inside, hits Nolan Ryan at about the 18, pushes it back to Spiegel. Spiegel with the shot, and there you are. Paola Sardella makes another save. A nice hard shot by Jacob Spiegel. A nice great save by Paola Sardella. Definitely not his first one tonight. Sardella is keeping Keene into the game right now. Chazy is dominating the midfield, dominating on defense. Latchmore with the ball right now, pushes it over to Baker. Baker's got some room. So a challenge over to Ryan. It's just a matter of time for Ryan breaks through, I think. He's had opportunities. He is taken down there by number 18. That would be, it looks like number 18. Maybe it's number 19. Luke Andrews takes down Nolan Ryan. It will be a direct kick at about the 30-yard line. Keene looking to set up their wall. Jacob Spiegel surveying the situation. And he sends it through to Casey Trombley, goes high on Sardello, and Sardella makes another spectacular save. It will be a corner kick.
I'll tell you, if anybody keeps him in this game, it's going to be their goalie. The goalie has been fantastic every time we played him. Although, obviously the scores are 5 and 6 and nothing, but you have to take into consideration the number of shots that Chazy has taken on this gentleman. He has just been a fantastic player for Keene.
Well, he's been pretty impressive tonight, that's for sure. He's getting a lot of pressure, and he's getting a lot of opportunities to look good because Chazy's getting a lot of shots off on him. The ball's cleared out on that corner kick. There's a rush to the ball. It looks like number 20, Jared Wallace, with a foot race with Kenny Blair, but coming over number 2, Perry Latchmore, comes off and knocks the ball off of Wallace, and it will be a Chazy throw-in with Kenny Blair throwing the ball into Jason Baker. Baker makes a nice move by the Keene defender, has some space, takes it up the field with the Chazy players rushing up on all sides. Baker still has room, hits Nolan Ryan on the left wing. Ryan trying to load up, can't get through, and Sardella and Baker collide. Sardella wins the battle with Baker.
Another nice save by
Paola Sardella.
It's a hard name to say, but a great save by the goalie again. Robbed Mr. Baker of a goal, possible goal anyway, right on 4 feet from the net or so. Chazy threatens again, but the goalie comes up strong again.
Well, we said it earlier, Stav, we're about 19 minutes in, 21 minutes left here in the first half. With Chazy winning the first game 5-0, 6-0, you get into the playoffs, it means nothing. We're still 0-0. You win, you move on. You lose, you go home. And the longer it stays 0, the more confidence Keene is going to get.
Absolutely. I'm sure Rob is just a little bit nervous right now. I'm sure he's probably expected to be about 2-0 at this point, but hey, the goalie's keeping them in here. They are definitely outplaying this Keene team, but it doesn't count unless the ball goes in the net.
Well, you know, if I was Coach Rob McAuliffe, when we get to halftime, I just tell the guys, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're getting the shots off. At some point, this goalie has to crack. I can't see him keeping that kind of pace up for the next hour. It would be an 80-minute game. We're 20 minutes into it, so for the next hour. So keep putting the pressure on, and at some point you will break the armor of Paola Sardella. But we're back to the action with Nolan Ryan heading the ball up to Stetson Fields. Fields tries to control it. It goes back to Baker. Baker makes a nice move to deke the Keene defender. Baker trying to get through, trying to go through 2 players, still has the ball. He's determined to get through there. Baker still there with the ball, knocked away, and Jacob Spiegel drills a shot over the net, and it will be a goal kick for Sardella and Keene.
It's really interesting, Joey. It looks like the defense for Keene is not really even attacking the Chazy players. They're kind of letting them drift into their end, and then once they get to about the 18-yard line, then they kind of bunch up on them. But they really aren't attacking the Chazy players to actually get the ball until they get down in their end. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, I think the strategy for Keene is to kind of box it up into their end, try to keep Chazy off the board for as long as they can. But that strategy can only work for so long, because once Chazy, if they break through this strategy of Keene, then Keene has to open the field up if they have any chance of scoring a goal.
And that's where, that's why I say Chazy's got to get on the board early. Once they get a goal or 2 in, then obviously, like you say, Keene is going to have to open up the field, and that's just going to make it worse for them. But what can you do? At this point, they're just playing defense. Everybody's back. They're trying everything they can do to keep this game even, Steven, until halftime, and so far they're doing a good job.
Well, they are. I mean, it is a strategy, but normally you don't win with that type of strategy. Last night at the girls' game, Bolton and the Chazy girls played in Willsboro for the MVAC, and that was Bolton's strategy. They literally had 3 or 4 girls on Helen Drew at all times. All the players were into the defensive end, but in the first 10 minutes, the Chazy girls scored 2 goals. So you would think that the Bolton coach would have changed his strategy, and he didn't, with no chance of scoring a goal.
Well, and hats off to, not going into that game, but hats off to Helen Giroux, who's, obviously a very smart individual. And when you are guarded like that with 3 or 4 people, it obviously opens up, a few other people who are, obviously scorers because they got the job done last night. I think Helen probably scored 1 or 2 goals last night out of the 8. So it just shows you that they don't need every goal scored by her. So it did open up a lot of other players. She took advantage of it, and they did the job.
Well, you're right. What Helen did last night, I think there was a little frustration for Helen last night with all those defenders on her. But, Helen just sat back, and you're right. She just fed the other players, and she got 4 assists. So there's Nolan Ryan. Oh, Ryan just goes wide. Had the opportunity. Sardella was beat on that play, but it just went wide of the net. It's just a matter of time, Staub, I think.
Absolutely, Joey. That was a beautiful pass by Stetson Fields out there too, Ryan. Just a little flick of the heel, back pass, and Nolan was right there. A golden opportunity, but hey, it's just a matter of time, I think.
Well, going back to the game last night for the girls, like you said, Helen Giroux had 4 assists. She took the opportunities that were given to her and to feed her other players, which she did. The girls are off. When this airs, they'll have played their first game, but today is the 25th of October. They get a first-round bye, so their first game won't be till November 1st. Stetson Fields coming in on Sardella, pushes it over. Oh! Tries to hit Nolan Ryan. The defender tried to knock it away and knocks it in. I think that Fields will probably get credit for that goal, but you can't blame Sardella on that one, Stubb.
No, it was a beautiful play. Actually, Jacob Spiegel brought the ball down, had a nice pass to
Nolan
Ryan, but Nolan had a golden opportunity, but the defense put it in by mistake. But hey, great play. It was a pass to Stetson Fields and then over to Ryan. I'm mistaken here. Fields had a nice pass over. The defense couldn't handle it, obviously. Lucky chance Chazy got on the board. Hey, what can we say?
Well, you know, it's the type of thing where Stetson Field was very unselfish on that play. He could have taken that shot. He tried to go over to Ryan, that one little extra pass, and they scored. We're back to the action after the goal by, was it Nolan Ryan they gave to?
No, Stetson Fields.
Stetson Fields gets the goal. So the goal by Stetson Fields, trying to hit Nolan Ryan, goes off a Keene defender past Sardella. And anything hard at Sardella, he's been saving, and it took a kind of a freak play for a goal to get by him.
Number 5 got the assist.
Number 5 got the assist, would have been the MVP, Jacob Spiegel. You know that guy, Stubb?
I think I know him. I know him just a little bit anyway. Nice shot beautiful shot by Casey Tremblay again. He's got a rocket of a foot and a great save by the Keene goalie one more time.
Well, we talked about that earlier with Casey Tremblay and that very strong kick that he has. We saw it there. If he's given the opportunity, he will take it. We've seen it many times this season with the Chazy Eagles. Sardella had to go up high to knock it over the net, which he did. It was a hard shot, and Corey Ellis will take the corner kick for Chazy. He feeds it into the box. Beautiful feed. Sardella knocks it away from a jumping Casey Tremblay. Controlled by Keene, but knocked away, and Latchmore controls it. It's back to Kenny Boyer. He goes over to Casey Tremblay. Casey's making a move, looking for somebody to pass it to. Goes opposite field to the left side to Kyle LaFountain. Kyle LaFountain goes down the left side of the field, gets by 2 Keene defenders, looking to send it across. Hits a hard shot off a defender of Keene, and it goes out to Chazy. Kyle LaFountain will take the throw in. We were about that 15-minute mark here in the first half, 1-0 Chazy on kind of a freak goal going off a Keene defender, but it's a goal giving credit to Stetson Fields. Casey Tremblay being pushed around. Number 10 gets called for the Jake Hooper, that would be the coach's son, takes down Casey Tremblay, and it's not too often you see Casey Tremblay go on the ground stop.
Very, very rarely. Casey's a big boy, and he's a tough boy, and I'll tell you, if you can knock him down, you're a lot better man than I am.
Well, I guess if you use 2 hands like Jake Cooper, you can get him down. That's how Casey went down there. But the call was made. Spiegel sends the ball into the box, headed by Kenny Boyer, headed wide left. Nice. It was almost like a set play on that stop.
Yeah, I believe the idea is to make sure you get the ball into the right-hand side of the box, and looks like they've tried that play before where Kenny comes in. He's a tall gentleman, about 6'1" or 6'2", and see if he can get the head ball in.
Well, the ball's cleared out. Nolan Ryan sends it to the center of the field, but controlled by Keene. They do get it to center field into the Chazy end, which has been a rarity this first half for them. But the defense of Chazy controls. Hits it to the midfield, goes over to Corey Ellis. Ellis pushes it to a wing to the Russian Evan Green. Evan Green drills the ball to the side of the net, but good pass work. It started at midfield from Kenny Boyer to Corey Ellis. Ellis over to Evan Green. 3 passes on the ground. Nice shot by Evan Green to the side of the net, but it's that passing game of Chazy is why they're controlling the game like they are.
That's right, Joey, and I'll tell you, that was one of the nicest passes I've seen Corey Ellis make all year. He's really coming along for Chazy. Great scorer when he gets open. Just working on his passing game, and that was one of the better ones I've seen him do all year. Very nice, Corey.
Oh, what a pass. Ryan should put this away. Yes, sirree. You can't hold Nolan Ryan down forever. A Russian Nolan Ryan. I think he was pushed on the play, too. They call him that a goal? Or they call him that a... A penalty kick. Oh, a yellow card. Yeah, a yellow card. That would be, is that number 9? Number 9 would be David Nye, gets a yellow card for wiping out Nolan Ryan as he's going in on a beautiful pass. It was on the outside of the foot. I don't know if it was Jason Baker. We'll hear in a second. But what a pass from about 30 yards out through the defensive line of Keene to Nolan Ryan, who's the most prolific scorer in the section history.
Well, that's what a lot of coaches preach is if somebody gets a breakaway like Ryan just did, basically you take your chances and you take the person out. Yes, you may get a penalty shot. You just do not let a forward go in one-on-one with a goalie. You got to take your chances. Hopefully he's still outside the box where it's only a direct kick, but rather than get a definite goal, you gamble and try to take your chances.
Well, almost with a breakaway like that, it's almost sure that Nolan Ryan will score. It was Corey Ellis with another beautiful pass on the outside of his foot, and Corey Ellis is coming into his own. We know he's a great goal scorer. We've seen that all year, but we have talked about if he could get his passing game down, he would open up for much more players, and Corey Ellis just had a beautiful pass. As much as a beautiful goal as it was, you got to tip your hat off to Corey Ellis because he fed him.
2 beautiful passes by Corey Ellis tonight, and that's what he really needed to do. Game after game, he kind of held the ball a little bit too long in other games. He can score when he gets open, but he obviously needs to use his players as much as he can, and tonight he's doing just that, and it's really paying off.
Well, you can see that obviously as the year has progressed, Corey has matured as a player, and we're back to the action with Kyle Fountain on the left-hand side, going toward the Keene net. Oh, a rip of a shot by Kyle Fountain, but the ball was already out, and they're calling a goal kick. It was a dive in Sardella, but the ball had got by him and hit the side of the net. And we got 12 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the first half. Chazy's ahead 2-0 on goals by Stetson Fields and Nolan Ryan. Chazy's ahead 2-0. They won the first 2 games of the year in league play with Keene, 5-0 and 6-0. In both instances, they ran into a hot goaltender in Paola Sardella. He hasn't let us down again tonight. He's made some incredible saves, and it could easily be 5-0 at this point if it wasn't for Sardella.
Absolutely, Joey. The goalie's doing a phenomenal job and actually keeping him in this game. It literally could be 4 or 5-0 at this point in the game, but he is a very good goaltender. I'm sure Keene is very happy to have him at this point.
Well, they only have him for so much longer because if they lose tonight, his high school career comes to an end. He's a senior. He's one of 5 seniors for Keene. They're in the Chazy end, and they do get a shot on net. It was a shot about the 30-yard line, kind of a weak shot wide. Beeman was not in trouble on that shot, but at least it's one of the first offensive opportunities that Keene has had in this game, and it's been 29 minutes to get there.
Absolutely, Joey. The Chazy midfield and defense are really concentrating on keeping the ball in the Chazy end, and so far they've done a phenomenal job at it.
Well, Jacob, Spiegel has the ball, chips it up to Stetson Fields. Fields controls it with his head, with his shoulder, and with his chest. Sends it over to Corey Ellis. Ellis takes control. He's got some movement. He gets by one defender, sends it over to Baker. And Ellis is turning into a playmaker tonight, Staub.
Boy, this is the best I've seen him play all year, I swear. He's done a phenomenal job all night tonight. He's actually really working hard at setting some people up, and it's making a big difference.
Well, it's tough when you got a guy like Jacob Spiegel and then you got Corey Ellis now with passing the ball as well as Stetson Fields. You get 3 guys that can pass with precision like we're seeing tonight. It's very tough to stop a team of the caliber of Chazy. Nolan Ryan lets a shot rip wide. The call is, it looks like a goal kick. Everybody's running back to midfield, so it was wide. Sardella did not get his hand on it, but he did go wide to make sure it didn't go into the net. And it went safely wide, so it will be a goal kick for Keene. With everybody setting up for the play right now, we're actually down to the 10-minute mark. We've played 30 minutes here into the first half. The game has been dominated by Chazy, but Keene did get a shot on net at the 29-minute mark. Ryan has the ball again, sends it in, tried to hit Spiegel, knocked away by the Keene defender. Jason Baker gets the ball, looking over, trying to control it, sends it over to Ellis and knocked away. There's Jordan Spiegel, the stopper or the sweeper for Chazy. Hits it over to Ryan on a nice pass. Ryan So I think they get confused with the white line and the yellow line, Stab.
I would too, Joey. It's very confusing when you're out there playing. All year long, you're so used to having the ball go out on the white line, and tonight it's yellow, so they just forget a little bit.
Well, Jason Baker just let a shot rip that went wide. It could have been a goal. Oh, another loose ball in the 18. Chazy does not get the goal. It looks like Nolan Ryan trying to load up here. He sends it back in to Casey Trombley. Heads it. It's controlled by Spiegel. Spiegel makes a nice move. Tries to send it in. And Baker loads up and goes wide left. Chazy's putting an awful lot of pressure on Keene at this point, Stab.
Yeah, I think that they would love to see a 3 or 4 point halftime lead. There's no question about it. I'm sure that would ease a lot of Rob's tensions. They're trying. They're doing their best. They're certainly taking a lot of shots on goal, but the goalkeeper is definitely keeping them in this game.
Well, Sardella is taking the goal kick. He sends it in. Spiegel kind of chests the ball over to Ellis, controlled by Keene. But there's Nolan Ryan. He's got some room inside the box. Ryan just drills a bullet. Sardella didn't stand a chance on that one. When Nolan gets into the 18 and loads up, forget it.
He is just such a joy to watch. He loves to go to his right, and I was surprised almost that he didn't take a left-footed shot on that one, but he'll pull it to the right and just let the gun go, and boy, it's hard to stop.
Well, it took a while, but we talked about this earlier. It may take Chazy a while sometimes, but when they score in bunches.
Yeah, we've had a couple goals here in the last 5 minutes, and that's when they really pour it on, and they want to definitely get this lead up to about 4 or 5 by halftime, and then they can kind of relax, and maybe in the second half, Rob will put in some other players, which would be a real thrill for them to be in a important game like this, and give them obviously some knowledge of what it's like to play with all the tension of playoff soccer.
Well, if things go true to form with tonight, with the Chazy leading 3-0, and they win this game, their next game will be Monday at 3 o'clock. Their opponent will be either Westport or Willsboro, the number 4 and 5 seeds in the tournament right now. Westport and Willsboro had 2 games this year, and they split. Willsboro won the first game, or actually Westport won the first game, Willsboro won the second game. So they played earlier today at 3 o'clock. I'm not sure what the scores were, but Chazy will be home on Monday at 3 o'clock. Of course, this game will have already been won't have aired by then, but they will play either Willsboro or Westport in the second round.
That'll be quite a bit more of a, obviously taking nothing against Keene here, but I think it's going to be a little tighter game come Monday. Yes, we did beat those teams maybe 3 or 4 to nothing, and when you get to obviously this level of play, though, things usually tighten up and they're not blowouts. So, I'm sure Willsboro and Westport coaches are going to have their teams very pumped up. It's going to be who wants to defeat this Chazy team, and it's going to be quite a battle to do that.
Well, if that happens, if Chazy should get by the game on Monday, then Championship Saturday is right back here at Plattsburgh High School on November 4th. And we have Corey Ellis trying to get into the action. Hits a shot over, and Sardella is there. It was kind of tipped from the Keene player, so took a little pace off the shot, but a shot by Corey Ellis. But we'll be back here if Chazy gets by the next round. They will be back in Plattsburgh, and they'll probably have to play their nemesis, the Elizabethtown Lions, who they've beaten twice this year, but they were 2 very good games.
Excellent games. Yeah, E-Town's a phenomenal team. They always come in very, very pumped up. Young players, actually not a lot of young players. They do have a lot of seniors on their team, but they got some quick forwards, very dangerous forwards. Obviously, I know Rob, I've talked to him on the sidelines, and he has mentioned that, obviously they want to make sure that they can get by E-Town. That's going to be one of their toughest challenges on their way to winning another state championship.
I know Rob has been a little concerned about getting out of his region. He knows E-Town is a tough game, and what concerns Coach McAuliffe with E-Town is that E-Town does have the guns that can put the ball into the net, and his concern is if they score the first goal, they'll go into a defensive shell, and you never know what happens, much less in a defensive shell and you're down 1-0.
Absolutely, Joey, and you definitely don't want that to happen. First goal is so important when you get to this level of competition. So it's good to see Chazy get on the board early and rack up a couple of extras for insurance. I think the rest of the game they got to play just as hard, conservatively, keep the ball on the ground, keep the passes going. They're looking good at this point.
Yeah, well, Rob has to keep them grounded. There's no doubt about it, because nothing comes easy, and they got to this point because they are grounded and they do play hard every time they do go out there. And the ball goes out right now. It will be Chazy ball with Evan Green passing it over to Jason Baker, who tries to go back to Evan Green. But the whistle blows, and they're saying out on Chazy, so it will be a goal kick for Keene. Usually Sardella takes it for... well, no, they call it a push on Baker. So it's actually a kick deep into the, as far as deep as you can get, Staub, in the Keene end. Sardella will take it. He sends it up onto the left side. Evan Green controls it for Chazy. One times it over to Corey Ellis. Ellis trying to get to the center of the field, being challenged by a Keene defender. And I can't tell. The numbers are too small for me, Staub, to pick up. But it goes to Ryan at the center 18-yard line. Lets a shot rip. And it goes wide off a Keene defender. It should be a corner kick, and it is. And Ellis is going to set up for the corner kick. We are at the 4-minute mark here in the first half. Chazy is ahead 3-0 on a goal by Stetson Fields, 2 by Nolan Ryan. That's a name we've heard a lot of this year. He seems to find the back of the net every game he plays. A nice cross by Ellis, headed out by Keene. Casey Trombley controls, makes a nice move. He should be looking left side. No, he makes a move on the inside and lets a weak shot to the goalie. Sardella picks it up, and he will punt it out to midfield, past midfield. A nice punt by Sardella. Latchmore heads it over to the right side of the field, but nobody is there except a Keene player, number 2, Jesse Bright. But he doesn't control it. It goes out of bounds, and it will be a Kenny Boyer throw-in. Is it Kenny? No, Kenny doesn't have it. Who was it? Baker took the throw in. He passed it into Kenny Boyer. It's Jacob Spiegel with the ball right now, rushing up the field. Nice outside pass over to Stetson Fields. Fields is fast. He's going to the center of the 18, goes over to Ryan. Ryan trying to get through the box. Ryan gets through, and oh yeah, Nolan Ryan gets a hat trick, and there's still 3 minutes left in the first half, Staub.
Yeah, you've seen it, everybody. The highest scorer in MVAC history, scoring number 3 tonight. Just an unbelievable player. When you get him open inside the box, you got to say your prayers, because he's just phenomenal in there. He's got just incredible footwork and a rocket foot.
Well, what's incredible, he has 3 goals, and we still have 3 minutes left in the first half, and he's only a junior. He shattered the record this year. He still has the rest of this year, and if they go the distance again, they got 7 games, counting this game, and he has all of next year, Staub.
Absolutely, and it's funny because I really don't see anybody that was really tailing him tonight, marking him through the whole first half so far. Nolan is actually, just going off. He's actually getting some rest at this point, which he well deserved. But I don't remember seeing anybody that was actually all over him tonight and marking him like Helen Drew was last night. You leave a gentleman like that open, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, you had the Fields to Ryan combo again, and Stetson Fields very unselfishly sent it over to Nolan Ryan. Nolan had to get by a couple of defenders, and he put the ball away. He knows how to finish, and Rob, I think, did the right thing pulling him out with 3 minutes to go. Give him a little bit of rest. Why even chance having him get hurt at this point? I think the game is well in hand, 4-0 at this point. Barring a miracle, Chazy will move on to the semifinals against Willsboro or Westport. But Casey Trombley sends it over to Jacob Spiegel. Spiegel looking around, stops, passes it far side to Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer has some open space, moves up, tries to hit Stetson Fields, gets by Fields, and Keene lets let the ball go out of bounds to a corner kick for Mr. Paola Sardella. Will take the corner or the goal kick, as he has the whole first half. We're under 2 minutes here. It's 4-0. A goal by Stetson Fields, 3 by Nolan Ryan, and it's a 4-0 Chazy lead. Again, I'm Joey Trombley with Staub Spiegel, calling tonight's game with Calvin Castine on the camera. While you got a moment, for all the people watching this game, please support Hometown Cable. It's we owe a lot to Calvin and Sam to take their time to film these games, film the events in the North Country. They literally have a treasure chest of memories. I can speak for myself when I turn on hometown cable and I see my dad talking about the old bootlegging days. So those are nice memories for me to see. Or he's talking about northern blacktopping and the when he started the business. So Calvin and Sam, they bring this to us in the North Country, and the only way they can stay on the air is if we have viewer support and business support. And if you haven't supported, you should, because there's no guarantee this will be on forever. And it's guys like Calvin and Sam that bring these North Country treasures to our homes every night, Stub.
Yes, they do, Joey. They do a fantastic job. And I mean, if everybody in the North Country would just send like a $50 check, I mean, I'm sure he could continue. Is that right, Calvin? Is that a nice gift? I'm just kidding, everybody. You don't have to send quite that much, but if everybody got together and spent a few bucks and sent it off to them, it would ensure that hometown cable will be here for a long time.
Well, you know, we support PBS, which is great programming. We support cable, and we should be supporting hometown cable. They're just as important as cable, just as important as PBS. It is quality programming. It's your kids, it's your grandkids out there, it's your brother, it's your sister. It's a wonderful opportunity to catch the games, catch the events when you aren't able to. So again, if you can send some money into hometown cable, that would be good. We'll be back for the second half. And we're back for the second half here. The first half was Chazy in a complete dominating performance. Do lead 4-0. It was a goal from Stetson Fields to start the game and 3 goals from Nolan Ryan. Chazy has a 4-0 lead. If they win this game, they will go on to the semifinals on Monday, which would be October 30th. 30th? October 30th. It will be October 30th in Chazy at 3 o'clock against Willsboro or Westport. Staub, I would think this game is pretty much in hand for Chazy, even though we have about 39 minutes left to play in the second half.
I think they look pretty good, Joey. They're controlling the ball very, very well, trying to keep their ground game intact, keeping the ball obviously in the triangle formation. A lot of the times you'll notice they're just creating so many opportunities for their forwards. Their forwards are having a field day today. These midfielders are doing a phenomenal job setting them up with some nice passes. And I mean, this game literally could be 7-8-0 right now. The goaltender for Keene's doing a phenomenal job.
Well, we talked about this earlier in the first half. The midfielders are controlling the ball, led by the MVP of the league, Jacob Spiegel. And if Keene can somehow break our midfield, then they got that daunting task of getting by that stellar defense, the Chazy defense, led by Casey Trombley as a stopper and Jordan Spiegel as a sweeper, with Kenny Boyer and Perry Latrimore on the wings, the fullback position. Chazy is dominating the game right now. Again, it's in the Keene end right now. A nice save by Kenny Boyer to keep the ball in. He sends it over to Spiegel. Spiegel traps the ball, pushes it to the wing to Stetson Fields. Just a little too far, but it was tipped off number 10 for Keene, which would have been Jake Hooper. And it will be a corner kick. Corey Ellis will take the corner kick. He seems to take most corner kicks for Chazy. Corey Ellis taking the kick. He sends it into the box. And Casey Trombley controls. One times it over to Spiegel. And Spiegel lets a shot rip. I think it was a left-footed shot from Jacob Spiegel, just wide on the right-hand side of the net. Sardella taking the kick for Keene. Goes to about midpoint on his side of the field. Keene is trying to get it out. Chazy playing a tough defense, and there's Perry Latrimore. Sends it to the left side to Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan and Perry Latrimore are first cousins, if you didn't know that. And it was cousin to cousin on that pass. But the ball goes out on Ryan. It will go to Keene. The throw comes in, controlled by Keene, but taken back by Chazy. Latrimore tries to head it up to Jason Baker. He's getting a little sloppy there for a second, but Chazy does take control with Ryan on the left side of the field. Sends it into the box. Over to Spiegel. Spiegel tries to control it, and Ellis tries to get a shot off. It hits a Keene defender. Here comes Casey Trombley. We talked about this. He lets it rip. It goes wide right, but Casey Trombley will take those shots if given the opportunity. Sardella takes the kick. He goes short pass on the left side to number 19, Luke Andrews. Andrews tries to get it past Corey Ellis. It hits him, and he just sends it out of bounds. It will be Chazy throw-in with Stetson Fields with the throw-in. He gets it in quickly over to the head of Kenny Boyer, over to Casey Trombley at midfield, who sends it over to Kyle LaFountain. Tried to. Knocked away. Kenny Boyer rushes to the ball, and it's controlled by Casey Trombley over to Jacob Spiegel. Jacob Spiegel just outside the 18, makes a couple nice moves, looking for somebody, heels it back to Jason Baker, and Baker rips a shot high over the net. Sardella ready for the kick. It was a beautiful back heel pass from Jacob Spiegel to Jason Baker.
And that's why Chazy's up so far right now. I mean, they're getting all the opportunities in the world, shot after shot, and some just beautiful passes up to their forwards to give them the opportunities.
Well, you know, you look out there and you see all the players for Chazy, and it doesn't matter who touches the ball. They're like a well-oiled machine out there, Staub. All 11 of those players know what to do with the ball. They know their positions. They're well coached by Coach McAuliffe. And there's a lot of unselfishness out there. They just give the ball up. They give the short pass to the person who has the advantage.
Yes, Joey, and I mean, if you're going to be able to beat the Chazy team, you're going to have to be quick and you're going to have to be attacking. This is a very laid-back Keene team. I'm just surprised tonight that they're allowing. Just if you look at them right now, I mean, they don't actually attack the forwards. Watch them. See, the gentleman's not going after them at all, just letting them come down the field. You're going to have to go after the ball and create an opportunity to get the ball loose. And they're just sitting back and letting Chazy do their thing.
Well, I don't know if they're paralyzed from the skill level of Chazy, but you're right. They're just sitting back. Now, there's another look at that pass right there. Here you have Baker inside the box. I think he was looking for the perfect shot. It was knocked away. Look at this. Sends it out to Casey Trombley. And boom, Casey sends it wide again. But Casey will take those shots. But again, look at the pass work. Jason Baker had somebody on him. Nice little pass outside the 18. Casey Trombley takes the shot. Sardella to take the goal kick right now. He sends it back up. Controlled by number 2, which would be Jesse Bright. Okay, Jesse Bright loses the ball at Spiegel. Jacob Spiegel gets it over to Ellis. Ellis tries to send it back to Spiegel, but again, Corey Ellis was looking for the pass on that play stop.
Yeah, just not enough muscle on it. He had the right idea, but just need a little more meat on that ball, and Jacob would have been free.
Well, we're back to the action with Jason Baker on a nice feed from Corey Ellis. Baker back to Spiegel, not being challenged. Spiegel just looking around, makes the move, and I don't know if it's just respect for Spiegel. They aren't challenging him, but Jacob has been known to make people kind of buckle their knees when they try to challenge him.
He's got some fancy footwork he's been practicing, and it seems to be paying off. Some nice back cut moves. They have been schooled a little bit by him, so I think they're kind of backing off on him, but he's doing a great job at setting up these forwards and giving them some opportunities.
Well, it's a respect for the players. When you dominate a game like Chazy, you just try to hope you don't look too foolish out there with some of these moves that these guys can make. But you know, Staub, through the years, well, here we got Spiegel right now. He's in the box. Something could happen. He's taken down. But you know what? 4-0, they aren't going to call a foul on that. That could have been a penalty kick, but there's no way at the 4-0 lead will they call that.
That's right, Joey. When the game's got a high score like this, the refs, it's going to have to be a real bad foul for them to call at this point. I mean, they don't want Chazy to go crazy on gift goals. They want them to earn them. And, like I say, if they're a flagrant foul, they're going to call it.
Well, right there, they gave Chazy the call there. So they blew the whistle, kind of made up for that call. Chazy will get a direct kick out at about the 40-yard line of the Keene end. It's being set up right now with Kenny Boyer, and it looks like Kyle LaFountain, or is that Jacob? It is Jacob looking to send the ball in. He sends it in. Ryan was there. It just wasn't high enough, but controlled by Fields. Nice footwork by Fields. Fields looking to make a move. Sends a nice low shot. Just goes wide of the net, but nice footwork by Stetson Fields.
Nice shot by Stetson Fields. It's going to be a Chazy corner kick.
Ellis with the corner kick. He sends it into the box. Casey Trombley tries to chest the ball over to Stetson Fields. And a bullet by Jacob Spiegel on the 18-yard line. It came out. Spiegel loads up, goes wide left, and it's 5-0 Chazy, Staub.
Beautiful shot by Jacob Spiegel. I've been preaching to him all year. If you can just keep the ball down low and hard, the ball's going to go in. And that time he did exactly what Daddy told him to do.
5 unassisted, Jacob Spiegel. We're back to the action after the Jacob Spiegel goal, unassisted at about the 18-yard line.
Goal scored by number 5, Jacob Spiegel.
Stop at this point, down 5-0. Keene should just go on an all-out offensive blitz trying to do something because this strategy is not going to work for them.
No, I think this game is just a matter of about 31 minutes. Keene is kind of dropping out of this. They're not really challenging at all. Obviously, I think they know their fate. And Chazy's just having their day with them right now.
Well, Stetson Fields making some nice moves. It's finally poked away from him, but the on-rushing Jason Baker, hustling Jason Baker, controls the ball. Goes left side to Kyle LaFountain, who lets a shot rip. It just hits the net out on the outside, but a nice pass by Stetson Fields. And you're right, Chazy is it's a cakewalk right now. It's almost like the sails of Keene has let out of them.
I agree with you, Joey. Obviously, I'm sure they're a little bit demoralized right now, but they shouldn't hang their heads. I mean, they're playing a 2-time state champion team, and I mean, they played them before. They've been beat, 5-6-0 before in a couple other games. Their goal tonight was try to keep it close and play a respectable game. Hey, it's a nice, clean game. It's not a lot of pushing, not a lot of shoving. You got to give them credit and hats off to them for playing a nice, clean game. And hey, they're doing what they can.
Well, you're right. A lot of times when teams get down 5-0, it gets a little chippy. It was an obstruction call on Chazy. It's Keene's ball. But like we were saying, Staub, it can get a little chippy when you're down. So my hat does go off to Keene to keep this a clean game. But you talked about Chazy being the 2-time champions. They were actually the 2-time defending state champions, which says a lot. Number 1 ranking in New York State, an unblemished record, a 52-game winning streak on the verge of 53 games. But I think even more impressive is to be ranked number 15 in the state from all of the soccer teams. That is just an incredible accomplishment for a D school who graduates 30 to 40 kids every year.
Absolutely, Joey. I mean, Rob McAuliffe has got to be so proud of that ranking. When you think of all the schools in New York State, including AAA schools, and to be ranked number 15, I think there's a lot of coaches out there that are saying, who are these guys and where did they come from?
Well, soccer in Chazy is a passion, and there's Nolan Ryan. The ball comes in. He traps the ball about waist high, sends it to his right foot, and he hits a bullet on the upper net center of the net over Sardella's hands. I mean, I don't think there's a goalie around that would have saved that.
Another yellow card.
All right, we're back to the action. Jacob Spiegel got an assist on that goal, Nolan Ryan's goal. The goalie did get a yellow card after the goal. We're not sure quite what happened. We're thinking maybe some language. And into the net right now is, we were told, Jacob Earl is into the net right now, in for Sardella. Sardella is out on a yellow card right now. He's waiting for the next whistle to go back into the game. But right now, Casey Trombley has the ball, and he's ready to low up on Earl. And, oh, wow. Hit the top crossbar. Jacob Earl must have been going, oh, my God, what did I get myself into? Sardella, is he going to come back in, or is Hooper, he's keeping him on the bench right now. So Jacob Earl is into the game. He'll be in for a little bit longer. And Chazy has a 6-0 lead with about 28 minutes to go here into the second half. Again, another game, another half, I should say, where the ball has been completely in the Keene end stop.
Absolutely, Joey. The Chazy team is just having a field day with this Keene Beaver team, just having their own way. Keene doesn't seem to be attacking much. Chazy is just playing their passing game and creating so many opportunities. I mean, this game easily could be 10-11 to nothing right now. hats off to the Chazy team. They're looking sharp tonight. They just can't get too confident. They got to take one game at a time. It's going to get harder and harder as we go along. So they got to make sure that they come in pumped up on their game and ready to play each team individually, because it is definitely going to get tougher as we go.
Sardella is back into the game. He's ready to take a goal kick on a shot that was drilled wide by Perry Latrimore. Sardella setting up. We are at the running time right now. It's 26 minutes and 30 seconds. Chazy with the 6-0 lead and totally has controlled every aspect of this game. The ball goes out to the left side. It's Matt Osher who has checked into the game for Chazy. Sends it over to Jason Baker. Baker making a couple moves, but knocked away by a couple Keene defenders. And hustle by Jason Baker, knocks the ball back. The ball is just kind of bouncing back and forth right now, waiting for somebody to take control, and that control would be Matt Osher, who had sent it over to Jacob Spiegel. Spiegel has the ball being challenged. That's about the most challenge I've seen the whole game from the Keene defenders at this point, Staub, and it goes harmlessly back to Jacob Beeman, who was kicked back to him by his own player, chested down by Evan Green, who one-times it over to Jacob Spiegel. Spiegel one-times it over to Evan Green. Evan Green sends it up for an on-rushing Corey Ellis. Ellis is in the box, lets the shot go wide. Stop. 3-4 passes, one-timers. Corey Ellis has his opportunity to take a shot, just misses, but again, the pass work from Chazy.
Beautiful pass work all the way down the line. We had Spiegel down to Green. Green sends off Ellis, and Ellis sends off a rocket. Just misses a little bit wide left. Nice shot by Ellis.
But that whole play started back when the Chazy offense sent it back to Beeman. Beeman comes down the left-hand side. So there were literally 5 passes, one-time passes, that end up in a shot for Chazy. That's moving the ball up and down the field very well, but that's their game. Control the midfield, one-time passes, make every pass with what's the word I'm thinking here? When you make a pass with well, not with authority, with purpose. So every time they pass the ball, there's a purpose behind their shot. They just aren't booting the ball.
They play so well together. I mean, they played so many years together, this team. I can remember when they were about 7 or 8 years old, and they were playing indoor soccer. And at that time, there was a mesh of Jacob Jordan, Casey Trombley, Kyle LaFountain, just the real mesh that's out here right now. And I can remember Rob coming over, and at that time, when they were about 8 or 9 years old, they were just murdering everybody in the indoor field. And Rob said, that's the team that's going to win me the state championship. And they've done it twice for him. And hopefully this year, with if they keep their heads on straight, they'll do it one more time.
Well, you're right about that, and they're more than just soccer players. They are true friends with each other. Last night, they got together at Nolan Ryan's house, and they had a spaghetti dinner, and that seems to be common for the boys and girls. It's good for camaraderie-ship, and they just enjoy hanging around with each other.
Very, very close friends, but getting back to how much these gentlemen have played soccer together for so many years, it's almost like they know what the other one's going to do before they even do it. So it's so much joy to watch them play and watch their passing.
Corey Ellis ready to take the corner kick. He sends it into the box, and goal. That would have been, I think, Bradley Hansen. Brad Hansen comes in. Brad Hansen is another player for Chazy next year as a sophomore. Or he's a sophomore now or freshman? Sophomore. He'll come in next year and he will put the ball away. This guy can finish. He's in the game how long? And he already puts a goal in on a cross from Corey Ellis. We'll get the official announcement in a minute here. It was a Brad Hansen goal from Corey Ellis. Brad Hansen just comes into the game, finds the, I want to say the back of the net. He got it by Sardella. It makes it 7-0. Coach is subbing in pretty good right now for Chazy. He has Steve LeBombard out there, Matt Osher, Brad Hansen. Galen Trombley is just getting ready to check in. He'll go in the defensive end. He'll either probably go in for Perry Latrimore or Kenny Boyer, but I'm thinking Perry Latrimore, the next whistle, and Latrimore is knocking the ball to midfield. Ball goes to Kyle Reynolds. Reynolds over to LeBombard. LeBombard over to Evan Green. Green sends it over to Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer stops, looks around, trying to find somebody to pass to, chips it into the corner, over to Corey Ellis. Corey Ellis is knocked away. It looks like it'll be another corner kick, and it is. Ellis getting set for another corner kick. Trombley is in the game, and he is in, well, Latchmore is out, and so isn't Kenny Boyer. So into the game, it looks like
Kyle Fountain's back on sweeper.
Kyle Fountain went back on sweeper. Jeremy Reynolds went to the left back. Galen Trombley's on the right back. And Casey Trombley, I think, is still in there as the stopper. All right, Trombley's got the ball. Trombley sends it over to Kyle Reynolds, who tries to one-time it over to Brad Hansen. Brad Hansen at the 18. Brad can finish. And we're looking at another corner kick. Corey Ellis with the corner kick. Sends it in. Nice feed. Sardella knocks it out with two hands. It's going back out. Ellis will gain control. He moves to the corner. Ellis looking back. Sends it into the box. Knocked away by the Keene defender. And they're trying to get out of their end. Nice pass over to number 19, which would be Luke Andrews. Andrews trying to get it out, but controlled by Chazy. Trombley intercepts the ball, one-times it over to Nathan Racine. Racine making a move. It's knocked away, but Steve LeBombard. Kyle Reynolds one-times it over to Green. Green back to Reynolds. Staub, you have the second group going in now, and they're passing around just like the first group.
Well, they've learned from, obviously the older members and the first line that that's what works for Chazy, and they're learning it very well, and they have to, because next year there's going to be some big holes to fill, and it's great that Rob is actually giving these individuals the opportunity to get out there and to realize, this level of play at the playoff part of the season. So it's nice to see these players out there getting a taste of it, getting the nerves out. They may be called on coming, when we get to a little bit tougher competition. If somebody gets hurt, somebody's going to have to step up and take their spot. So it's going to be important that they have the nerve level controllable and be ready.
Well, you're right about that, but with this team here, this is also the team that scrimmages against the first squad every practice. So, you play against that day in and day out, and they have the skill level. They may not be as sharp as the starters, but they don't play as much as the starters. But with more and more playing time, they will be just as sharp as the starters. But it's nice to see that they do have the Rob McAuliffe concept of soccer down. Like there's a header by Nathan Racine. It was a header with a purpose. It was a header that was a pass to the midfield, controlled by Brad Hansen, and he's still fighting with the ball. And as well as Brad's doing, he had torn an ACL last year, and he has the brace on. I'm not sure if that will be off for next year, but look how effective he is coming off an ACL injury.
Brad has done just a great job this year. Scored probably 6 or 7 goals for Chazy, and for, like you say, his injury, just a phenomenal player. Has done a great job. If he didn't have that brace on there and had a little bit of extra speed, he'd be a real threat for Chazy. I think he's going to be a big gun for him next year.
Oh, next year you're going to have, we still have Nolan Ryan. He's a junior this year. You're going to have Corey Ellis up there. You throw Brad Hansen into the mix, and you have a trio of guys that can find the back of the net. Right now you have Kyle Reynolds sends a shot in. Nice shot. So right at Sardello, but it was about 30 yards out, 25 yards out, and a nice shot by Kyle Reynolds. Ball's cleared out. Trombley heads with a purpose over to Evan Green. Evan Green tries to trap it. It is Keene with the ball right now. They have a little bit of control off a Keene defender, and Nathan Racine controls it back to Trombley. Trombley sends it over to Evan Green. Evan Green being challenged. Looks over, tries to go down to Corey Ellis. He does, but he's pushed from behind. Good gesture from the Keene player. Didn't mean to do it. That was Jared Wallace making a nice gesture to Corey Ellis as he pushed him down from behind. It will be Corey Ellis with a direct kick. He sends it on the ground, tried to hit Evan Green. It comes back out to Nathan Racine. Racine has control of the ball, passes it back to Kyle LaFountain. LaFountain, tried to get it through the line to Corey Ellis, but it was knocked away by a Keene defender, and it will go out. It'll be a Chazy throw-in, and we have 2 more subs coming in. We have Justin Guerin, and it looks like Will Souza would be my guess right now. Number 12, Will Souza, and Justin Guerin coming in for Chazy. Off is Evan Green, and Corey Ellis at this point. Steve Lombard tries to hit Justin Guerin, knocked away. Kyle Reynolds, with his outside of his foot, sends it back to the 18 to Brad Hansen, but knocked away by Keene. Nathan Racine trying to control the ball. He does. Sends it over to Will Souza. Gets by Will Souza. Keene has the ball. Nice move by number 19 for Keene. Luke Andrews made a nice move by Will Souza. He passes it up to number 15, which would be Jacob Earl. But Kyle LaFountain at the sweeper position controls the ball, sends it past midfield to the left side to an on-Russian. Justin Guerin. I'm losing my sight of the players here and their numbers across the field, but that was Justin Guerin with the ball. Staub, we're 16 minutes away from Chazy moving on to the semifinals.
That's right, Joey, and the way I see it, we have 6 games left to be New York State champions again. God forbidding anything goes wrong. Definitely on our way. Got to take one game at a time. Obviously, a good effort by Keene, and hats off to Keene. I mean, they played a nice, respectable game today, very clean game. I know that they're probably a young team and will probably be a big force next year for Chazy.
Well, you know, you're right. They got 6 games to go to try to take it to the an unprecedented, if you will. I don't know if that's ever been done at the D level, or I think any level, to be a 3-time defending champion. I mean, they're 6 games away, but they do have the tools to do it this year. They have definitely the offense with Nolan Ryan and Corey Ellis up at the line, and they have that midfield led by the MVP Jacob Spiegel, and then you have that stellar defense led by not Corey, but Casey Trombley, Kenny Boyer, Perry Latrimore, and Jordan Spiegel. And then you have Jacob Beeman, who has done a spectacular job in goal for Chazy. Keep in mind, he came into this year replacing back-to-back state record holders for Chazy goalies.
That's right, Joey, and this is a very, very seasoned team at this point. Obviously, with 2 state championships under their belt, these guys can handle the pressure, obviously, that a lot of other teams that have come in to or are going to be into these Final Four may have never, ever been at. They're going to be able to handle that type of pressure because they've been there twice. So it's going to be, obviously, they're going to be seeded number 1. Unless something dramatic happens, and it can happen in soccer. Anything can happen in soccer. We've seen it before. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
Well, you're right about the experience factor, and you definitely noticed that even the last 2 years that they won it, but I noticed it probably more last year when Chazy was down at the Final Four. I mean, they were, what a feed by Trombley, trying to hit over to Matt Osher, and nice feed from Trombley to Matt Osher. Matt makes a nice effort and goes wide. But last year at the Final Four, you could see that the boys were focused. They've been there, done that. So they were focused at the task at hand. Rob had them really focused as far as keeping the eye on the ultimate goal, which was to bring another championship. And I could see the difference in the other teams. It was almost like they were happy to be there.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's almost expected at this point that Chazy, should win this year again, being seasoned as they are, and they have a big hill to climb, and a lot of expectations are on them. So they got to take one game at a time, stay focused, know that the teams are going to get tougher and tougher and quicker and faster and have quicker forwards and better defenses, and they're going to have to be on top of their game.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, the games that come to mind, obviously, if they do make it into our regional final, you have to play Elizabethtown again, and Elizabethtown is a very good soccer team. They got as high as the 5th ranked in the state this year, which says a lot about the Elizabethtown program. But if we get outside our region, we do have to go toward Albany, probably play somebody like a Fort Anne, and if we get by that, then we have to go out west, and the team looming out west is Lisbon, and Lisbon has quite a reputation as a soccer powerhouse, and so that could be quite a game if we get that far. So you got to get by Lisbon.
Oh, another nice shot by Chazy, but the goalkeeper takes advantage of it and saves it again for Keene. Very nice shot by Mr. Hansen, who scored earlier, Brad Hansen.
Well, and if they get by Lisbon, and then, another name when you look at the charts right now, up there again is SS Seward. And Chazy played a very tough SSC Word 2 years ago in the semifinals. That was the game, if I'm not mistaken, that Corey Lewis broke his leg late in the second half. And SSC Word is undefeated right now down in the south, the southern end of the state. And, they could face that nemesis again in SSC Word. So it's not a guarantee in the next 6 games. They do have at least, any game can be tough, but there's at least 3 that could loom as being very tough, and they will have to play their best to win that 3rd state championship.
And not only that, but the games get very, very physical when you get down to this time of the year. Tonight's game has been very, very clean. Not a lot of pushing, not a lot of shoving, but when you get to the next few levels, that's when the physical activity really starts. And you'll see especially if you do get down to the Final Four, there's a lot of pushing going on, a lot of shoving. The refs seem to tend to let it go more. They let the play go on. It takes quite a foul for them to call it. It's got to be a very noticeable foul, but the play does get much more physical at that point.
There's no doubt about that. But one thing about this Chazy team is they're very fun to watch. It's a very controlled game that they play. It's almost like you're watching a college level team out there at a high school level. Again, their passing game is every pass seems to be with a purpose. There's just not this wild boot in the ball, if you will. Back in the 70s when I was going through soccer, that's kind of what we did, is we kind of boot and ran. And, the faster, more physical team won the game only because they were in better shape. Okay, we're back to the action here. Number 19, we're looking at Luke Andrews, trying to get it out of their zone, but it's been there the whole time. I think we're probably looking at one shot. Oh, all right. Justin Guerin will not get that call. I mean, it's 7-0. They're going to call out a penalty kick on that.
Joey, Angela Spiegel must be just sweating right now, because if Justin Guerins would have scored that goal, she had made a bet with him and said, if you score a goal, I'm going to go right out in midfield and I'm going to give you a kiss. And boy, I thought she was going to have to do it tonight. That would have been exciting to watch.
That's what's fun with this team. The community is very involved with this team. They support them very well. As any D school, the community supports their team very well. But Chazy is a close-knit community, and it's kind of funny when you hear stories like that, because I'm sure Justin must have got a kick out of that when Angela told him that.
Well, yeah, and actually what happened was Angela was waiting for his first goal, and Justin actually scored on a penalty kick one night, but she wasn't at the game. So she did save those puckered up lips for me. God bless her. So I had to take his kiss that he was supposed to get, and Justin, you'll just have to do it one more time.
Stop, you are a card, that's for sure. But didn't Angela give him a gift certificate, or she was supposed to give him a gift certificate when he scored that penalty kick?
I believe she was supposed to give him a gift certificate. I don't know if she made it out yet, but I believe it's in the mail.
Well, we're going to have to remind her, because she said if Justin scored a goal this year as a senior, he would get a gift certificate to the Plattsburgh Homestead. So we're going to have to keep Angela on that. And we understand from you that Angela will be sending a donation to Hometown Cable, which is very generous of Angela and the Plattsburgh Homestead.
Absolutely. We like to support our local cameraman, and Calvin, he does a phenomenal job all year long for all the sports, not just soccer, but basketball and baseball, and he roams around the North Country all the time, all the different teams, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of gas mileage and a lot of expense, so we're very happy to be able to support him.
Well, I hear people all across the North Country who are just very thankful to Hometown Cable, and it is kind of neat when you can sit at your home in the luxury of your home, pull the recliner back, and you can watch somebody a family member, a friend, whether it's a school play, whether it's a sporting event, and it's guys like Calvin with Hometown Cable. Calvin, I would have to say you're, 20 years doing this now?
First thing we did was in 1983.
1983, okay. And what the first thing I can remember, only because I was younger then and playing sports, that I remember you doing the softball games, and I think that was probably one of the first things that you started, wasn't it?
One of the first games we did was the Section 7 championship game in Northeastern against Peru in softball, and that same week we did a men's league softball game. We try to do a men's league game every week.
Well, that's exactly what I remember. I remember seeing it on TV. I remember the quality back then wasn't what it is today, but it was kind of neat to to see people on TV that you knew, and it was kind of neat when you started seeing when Calvin started having people have commercials. That was kind of neat to see that too.
And it's so nice for the boys and the girls and whoever he films, because you can get copies of this from Hometown Cable for just a few dollars. And when you grow up and you have kids and you can show them, hey, you want to see me play soccer when I was young? They get the biggest kick in the world out of it. And I wish we had it when I was a kid, but we didn't have anybody that took the filming back then. And it's so nice to have Calvin be able to do this now.
Well, you're 100% right on that, Stubb. Actually, I'm quite happy he wasn't around when I was a kid, because I tell the kids how great I was back then, which I really wasn't, but there's no proof with it with Calvin and his camera. So I'm kind of grateful he wasn't doing it back when I was going through sports, because the kids would really know the truth of my athletic ability.
You can't lie when it comes to softball, though.
Well, no, you had me enough on softball, but I was very fortunate to play for a very strong Barcombs team who was very successful in the Lake Champlain League, and then went into the city. So when the Lake Champlain League broke up, I was fortunate to be asked to play for Barcombs, and did have some success at the team level with them, and that truly is captured on Hometown Cable, as we will see on Hometown Memories when I was much younger. But we're down to the final minute. We've just been kind of gabbing away here because the game has been totally controlled from Chazy. Oh, it's 5 minutes and 46 seconds. I thought it was 55 seconds. 7-0 for Chazy. Directions, we know what we're doing. Sardella with the corner kick. We're 5 minutes and 25 seconds to go here into the second half. Number 21 for Keene had the ball for a second, Nathan Woods, but Chazy controls it with Justin Guerin. Guerin making a nice move around number 4, which is Patrick Odell. Odell takes it from Guerin and sends it out of bounds, and it'll be a Chazy throw-in. Again, we have Matt Osher coming out, and we have Jeremy Reynolds going out. It looks like Galen Trombley is the sweeper for Chazy at this point. On the left side, number 20, is that Nathan Racine? And then on this side here, I'm trying to see who that is for Chazy, number 28. Racine has the ball right now. Send it to the corner. It's sent to the center by, it looks like, Matt Roberts. Matt Roberts hustling to the ball, and it's kicked out by Keene. Matt Roberts will take the throw in for Chazy. 7-0 Chazy here in the second half. This game is definitely in hand. Chazy will move on to the next round of the playoffs against either Willsboro or Westport, who played earlier today in Westport at 3 o'clock. I have not heard the outcome of that game yet. Trombley has the ball, making a nice move, steals the ball. Trombley still has the ball. He's making a rush. He'll look to pass it off. He does. Over to number 15. 15 is John Bailey, just sends it off right on a nice feed from Galen Trombley, who came in about the 45-yard line of the Bolton end of the zone. Took it up. He had some space. He took advantage of it, and as he got closer, he saw an open John Bailey on the right-hand side, sent it over, and the ball was shot wide by John Bailey. Ball is punted out by the goalie, and that would be, I think, a dangerous play and good sportsmanship from Keene. Like you said earlier, Staub, it's not a dirty game. It's being well played, and there was some nice gesture by Patrick Odell right there.
Very nice. I mean, he knew he had hit our player, gave him a hand, got him up. Very clean, nice playing Keene team. Hats off to him.
Well, hats off to Fred Hooper. He's got these kids discipline in the sense not to get dirty. Hey, when you're beat, you're beat, and you just got to accept that fate. And you do see teams that, like you say, in the higher level who get very dirty, and Keene's not doing that, so I tip my hat off to them.
And I'll tell you, and this is another thing about going back to Calvin filming these games is, if they would have been playing back in the day, I remember Freddie Hooper playing. Phenomenal soccer player. I can remember many, many days where we played. I believe he was on the E-Town team, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
And I remember him like it was yesterday, and a very, very strong player in the league, one of the most valuable players in the league, always a threat. He had a hell of a foot on him when he was about the 18-yard line. You always held your breath when he got the ball.
Well, Galen Trombley, a nice through ball way back on the defensive end, and it was a foot race. Jeremy Reynolds was given everything he had to try to get to the ball, and it was cleared out by Keene. Throw in for Chazy. We're at the 2-minute mark here, and it's just a matter of time before this game goes in the books as an official game. The ball is knocked out again. Throw in for Chazy. It goes over to Nathan Racine. Nathan Racine is in the box. He goes down. He will not get that call. Not in a 7-0 game with less than 2 minutes to go. Ball is cleared out by Keene. It will go. And 28 is Tyson Dupree for Chazy. We're trying to figure out who that was out there. But we just figured it out. Tyson Dupree out on the defensive end for Chazy. On the right end, Trombley has the ball back over to Racine. The throw-in was Racine to Trombley. Trombley back to Racine. Matt Osher sends it far side over to John Bailey, and our Sardella gets the ball for Keene. He punts the ball up toward midfield. It does reach the midfield marker. Now we're down to the 1-minute mark. We're 1 minute away from Chazy, moving on to the semifinals. Matt Osher loses the ball to Keene. Keene is a rare time into the Chazy defensive end, and Nathan Racine takes the ball away. And stop. It doesn't matter what defense is out there, they're controlling the play.
Absolutely. Chazy's done a phenomenal job tonight. They love the big, wide open fields. That's where they play their best soccer. Obviously, they play a lot of ground game soccer, and the midfielders try to set up their, obviously, strikers, and they've done a phenomenal job tonight, and obviously the score shows.
Well, I see some E-Town players here. I'm assuming... well, I'm not sure who E-Town. I think E-Town played like Indian Lake, so I'm assuming that they won the game. They are the number 2 seed, so I think they would won that. Bolton and Johnsburg played the other game. Trombley has the ball. He just gets rid of it to the center of the field. This game is in the books, and Chazy will win it 7-0. And as Calvin would say, that's the way it was on October 25th, 2006 at Plattsburgh High School.